This guy's the driver. He's actually really not the driver. He's the driving force behind this. How's that?
It's okay. A little corny, but
ทำเพื่อถวายเป็นพระราชกุศลในโอกาส72พรรษาเมื่อวันที่5ธันวาคม2542
ทุกอย่างนะครับขอท่านเก็บเลยนะครับเป็นปานนะก็จะเล่นไปตามรอยตีนอันใหญ่อันน้อยเล่นขาดน้อยเล่นไปหา
ยูเป็นเบียร์หนึ่งกันใจเวลาเท่าไหร่ชั่วโมงหนึ่งก็
Could you just say a little bit about what we just did? Where were we?
We went to Jungle Temple, and it's a gorgeous temple. Paint all of this and then they lacquer it. And all of this stuff. We're on our way to a place called Mae Ai, surrounded by mountains, the river Mae Ai.
แต่ว่าผมไม่ได้เดี๋ยวผมบอกแม่ตายที่ก่อนตายเลยก็ไปเรียกแม่ที่บ้านผมบอกแม่ตายแล้ววันที่สละวันนี้ลงเบาวันนี้มันเรียนอยู่ติดตะมืดอยู่ผู้ป่ากว้างเป็นเด็กวันเลยผมไม่เรียนมันเองเรียนกับปลาเลยไปอยู่ผู้ป่ากว้างเป็นเด็กวันเลยผมไม่เรียนมันเองเรียนกับปลาเลยไป
Siddhartha was a prince born to a very wealthy royal family in India, in a place called Lumpini. Siddhartha had absolutely everything materially. He had nothing to worry about. And one day, when he was a little older, he looked over the walls of his palace in which he lived, and he saw people that didn't look like him. He saw beggars and poverty for the first time in his life, and he wondered why there was such a difference between the way in which he lived and the way these people he was looking at lived. So at some point, he decided to leave, and there's a lot more to the story than that, but he left to find out about the rest of the world. And he traveled and he ended up living with hermits in a forest, and he meditated and hardly ate anything and basically starved himself almost. And there's an image of him in Lahore, Pakistan. I think it's in Lahore, where he's, all you see is this person meditating and his ribs are showing through. He's just starved, basically. So Siddhartha thought, oh, this isn't the way to live. There's something wrong with this. So he left the hermits, and they were very upset. But he left to continue on his journey, and eventually he became a businessman, and he became very wealthy, and he partied and drank and ran around with women and so on. And at some point during that experience, he thought to himself that this wasn't right either. So eventually Siddhartha decided that the middle way was the best way to go through life, not one extreme or the other extreme. So that's where this idea in Buddhism comes up. You hear them saying, take the middle way, the middle path. And the object of Buddhism basically is to attain happiness. And how do you do that? You do it by giving up ego and your desires for material things and even non-material things. You know, like certain types of love and passion and so on. You give all of that up, and by doing that, by releasing your ego and helping other people, being empathetic and considerate and generous sincerely, you can end up attaining happiness. And again, with Siddhartha, the idea is in Buddhism that when you die, you're reincarnated based on how you lived your previous life. You come back in the next life, that is determined by the way in which you lived in the previous life. And eventually, after multiple reincarnations, you attain complete enlightenment and wisdom, and that's nirvana, and you aren't reincarnated anymore. So in a nutshell, that's Buddhism. Long before Christianity and Islam, there was Buddhism, and it's basically an offshoot of Hinduism. So it originated in India, then went to Sri Lanka. From Sri Lanka, it came here to Thailand.
All right, now you have to do it all over again because it was on.
You'll probably come around again right here with your purpose.
Okay, road trip number 2.
The plan is going to the insect museum, which is about 40 miles away. That's to scare Bonnie.
Yeah, I need it.
So when she gets up into the hills, she's not totally terrified. And that's
Just remember, I have no tetanus shot.
for the insects. Don't worry.
No, not tetanus, rabies.
Don't worry about
Okay.
insects giving you rabies.
No, but squirrels, dogs.
It's insect museum, no
Okay.
problem.
Okay.
And then we do that, terrify Bonnie. Then we head up into the hills. Now,
right, Kim, where are we? Where are we now?
I don't know. I think we're lost, but we're making damn good speed.
All right, so how many hours have we been driving to these mountains?
Many.
Many. Like 4
I
hours.
don't know, but we left your place
8:30.
8:15.
But then
It's
we.
now 1:45. We stopped half an hour. So do the math. Long time.
It's almost all this kind of like up and down.
Yeah, it's funny how mountains work.
Yeah.
Up and down.
All right, Kim. It's the end of how many hours? 5.5 hours?
What is it, 3:30?
Just give us an approximation now.
7 hours.
No,
left.
really? Oh, yeah, but we didn't drive for 7 hours.
No, but we stopped twice, so say an hour.
So let's say you, since you did all the driving,
It was 10
cheers
hours.
to you. Folks, we're gonna stay in a cave tonight. Cave Lodge.
There's the cave entrance. We go in here and we're gonna do this, come out, but there's several kilometers and there are other chambers.
The Coffin Cave.
There are coffins at this end, but I took a picture. The people, especially in this area, in hill tribe areas, they believe in ancestor worship, Buddhism, and animism, so they amalgamate all of that stuff. And when they build a house or they come into an area and they start farming, or they, like here, they've developed this cave area. And
They have to have a monk come
yeah, a monk
to
comes.
bless the house and everything?
Yes. And they believe that everything possesses spirits. The wood, the trees, the ground, the rocks, the water, everything. So here, when they were setting up this cave, they displaced the spirits that were here, living here, and they can be mischievous. So what they do is build a house for them, and that's why it's called a spirit house. And they leave food and offerings, and sometimes you'll see whiskey, you'll see all sorts of stuff that they lay out for the spirits. So the spirits don't play games with you, but rather they go to the house. And this is a big one, but some of them are, you'll see a little house with a tiny spirit house next to it.
Yes. No, I should have done this before. No, I just made it. Look how big. I just used the zoom. Look at that. Go do it. Look at that. Look how cool it looks. All right, we're riding home.
All right, we're riding home.
All right,
wherever home is. Home is where the buffalo roam.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're we're going back. We're doing a bunch of curves, and I was telling Bonnie that yesterday we did right around 100 miles, and it was all mountain road and hairpin curves. And you can get a certificate, Chiang Mai to Mai Han Song, which is a town further north, for having completed 1,800 curves from Chiang Mai to Mai Han Song. And yesterday, with all the curves and everything, I'm pretty sure that from Chiang Mai to where we went yesterday, it easily came to that. So today we're going back, so you can add in another, whatever, 1,000, 1,500 curves. So by the time we make it back, if we make it back, it'll be getting close to 3,000 curves. So don't you think we should get a certificate for that?
You bet. Oh,